AI should fit like a business suit, not like a hand-me-down jacket, right? Whereas we take a slightly different approach where we adapt our AI solution to the business. We've built the engine and chassis for a car, and then we will custom build the rest of the car for you.
Welcome to In Time Tech Talks. My name is Skyler Simmons. I'm a director of partnership for In Time Tech, and I have with me Abram Langston, our director of business development for Arizona. Abe, why don't you tell us just a bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, pretty new to the company, but I'm here growing out the office. And really, my role kind of sits at the intersection of business problems and AI software solutions. Um, Really working with like leadership teams to better understand how their operations actually run day to day, and then we help implement solutions to remove any friction.
Awesome. Abe, you may be newer, but I know that you have a lot of conversations. You're hitting the pavement, you're out talking to people, you're going to events, you're doing some calling, you're doing some emailing. What are businesses looking for these days in your day-to-day conversations with, CTOs, directors, operations? Uh, what kind of conversations are you having? What are you seeing out in the marketplace in Arizona?
I think a lot of businesses, one of their top, obviously, things they're concerned about is cost. They really want to improve their own internal um, profits, and so when they're looking for solutions, software solutions, they want to make sure that they see a clear ROI with whatever they're implementing. Sometimes the pain of the friction they're experiencing it doesn't feel like it's worth the cost of fixing it, right? So that's kind of where my role comes in, is to help them see how a solution that we could implement or another solution someone else could implement will improve their returns on the investment. So a lot of businesses are concerned about that, but also AI is a big thing that people are interested in. It's kind of a big buzzword right now, and businesses are really just trying to figure out what it is, how they can implement it. Do I need to implement it? If I don't, am I falling behind my competition? Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, same for me, right? The Our traditional software as a service has those conversations have slowed down and really transitioned into AI central uh, solution conversations, and I think we're just going to continue to see that shift in the market of people are no longer looking at technology through a software lens. It's more through an intelligence lens, and it goes back to how quickly AI has the ability to impact things like cost and time savings and efficiency. Um, those those are they remain core to the what we can create for people as a software and AI service company. And yet the conversations have definitely shifted towards AI is that key piece that we can build in to our solutions. We can deploy quickly and we can see real results uh, pretty fast. So
Yeah.
um, absolutely.
When people come to you, Skylar, do you see that they come to you saying like, I need AI, or are they describing a pain point and then you connect the dots?
The beauty right now of what's happening in the marketplace for me is that really there's so much curiosity about AI uh, itself, and and yet there's not a large amount of understanding depending on a person's, background and position and role. There's not a big understanding of how it actually can impact uh, their their business, their cost, their their day-to-day workflow. And so I would say that a lot of people are coming to us with that curiosity about, hey, how can AI help me? But then it turns into, well, let's examine your day to day. Where are you feeling pain? Where are you feeling squeezed? And those are the things that truly open up the focused conversation around. Here's where AI could help. Here's where traditional kind of infrastructure software could make a difference, because there's a lot of people that are ready to use AI, and yet they may not have the data structure required to implement it effectively. Or there's a lot of people ready to use AI, and yet they're focused on these these shiny things, and yet when they describe their workflow, there's actually a place that AI could make a really big difference that's nowhere near where they're looking, right? They're looking at these big grandiose outcomes, and yet when you drill down, it's they're spending 10 hours a week on an activity that could be done in 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And those are the things where just that exploration, it opens it up, and then it is able to give us the detail that we need to say, here's how we could make a difference quickly, um, and really measure the value we produce. And then that, you know, for us, it's like, how do we keep coming along and providing those efficiency gains, those uh, technology services, with that company to modernize them as a whole. And I think that's what I see is everyone's really curious about AI, and yet the core goes back to what's happening in your workflow, what's happening in your day to day, and then that really aligns the conversation with what needs to happen next.
Yeah. And I think one of uh, a common misunderstanding is when people think AI, the knee jerk reaction is ChatGPT or like a large language model, right? And yes, like LLMs are powerful, but they're just one tool in a much bigger toolbox, right? Like when I think about AI, it's really about making decisions at scale. So learning from patterns, predicting outcomes, and automating like judgment heavy tasks, right? So sometimes that's a language model, but a lot of times it's, math, probability, optimization. And really AI can be implemented in so many different areas of the business. It could be a simple, chat bot. I think that's kind of people's first thought is I don't need a chat bot, or I don't need to, have my customers talk to an AI person. But honestly, it goes all the way down into supply chain, into purchasing, manufacturing. There's so many different applications for it.
When you think about ChatGPT, Claude, a lot of the big LLMs out there, you're already hearing conversation of you know people are losing their the sharpness in their skill sets because they're relying so heavily on those things, and they're really designed to those LLMs are designed to be a agentic in nature, right? A human who is has all the knowledge and power in the world to give you insight into things that you really need to learn. And yet, when it comes to business processes, that's not always what's required. It's more of those specialized tasks that don't need to be done by a human. You can free your time up from data entry, uh, to focused on value add tasks, right? Um, and and so the people's exposure to those large LLMs is one experience, and yet it may actually overshadow the real power in small small focused efficiency gains in their business, because it's this big shiny thing that's moving really fast.
Mm.
And yet, you know, AI has been around for years in machine learning and other things, and businesses have been utilizing those things for years, and yet the focus is on that that big large language model that can do so many things effectively. But there's still so much value in a small, selective language model that is designed to help with forecasting sales or a specific task, that frees up times from people where they can really generate value for their business.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's interesting too is like a large language model, or, an interface where you can communicate uh, to it with, just normal language, can just be like a layer, right, on top of the actual AI solution. So if the AI solution, let's say it's taking um, it's looking at, let's say, company data. Um, the, you- the large language model is just the tool to access and communicate with that. Um, and so I think there's a lot of opportunities with companies, um, with AI. I mean, it's really endless. And where are you seeing companies, what type of problems do you see companies come to you with where AI could be a solution?
For me, it comes back to what you started with. It's it's cost, it's time savings, it's efficiency gains. No one is really looking, from my experience, no one is really looking to replace the people in their organizations, but they are looking to empower them, right?
Mm,
To remove the those tedious tasks that don't generate value. Um, so that's, I mean, and it comes back to, how do we run more efficiently? How do we empower people to generate more value that are already in the organization? Humans can focus on value add tasks. AI is really good at doing the tasks that don't create value or need to be done, right? It's that, those tasks that are important but not urgent, they need to be done, but they don't have an immediate impact. And obviously people are good at building relationships with people, and so if they can spend more time doing that, ultimately it helps the business.
yeah, I think that's one. You mentioned something. I think that's a concern people have is, is AI going to replace my job? Have people approached you about that or talked about it, or is that a concern you're seeing?
The fact is especially with like, medium businesses, every headcount, every hire they make is a substantial cost to the business. And the idea is, you know, through a profitable business, you have the opportunity to bring people in that continue to move the business in a profitable fashion. But every every one of those people comes with a certain amount of cost and risk, honestly. So the the only the conversations that I have not been around replacing people, but empowering the people that they already have. Um, and I think even when we look at the solutions that we're building, they are not designed to replace positions. They are simply designed to to build in enablement for each position. So it's if you look at one of our case studies, it was for a large Midwest dairy, and we're doing demand forecasting, and we built a model that's providing really powerful results. Their intent was not to replace their sales teams
Right.
and replace it with a machine. Their intent was to empower their sales teams to build relationships with their vendors, to build relationships with their retailers, and focus on those places that actually make a large amount of difference for the company and how they operate. But they were spending up to 20 hours a week just analyzing data that they had so that they could be informed to work with their retailers to ship out the right amount of product, to understand the seasonality around certain products. They were spending so much time. And now, with the solution in place, they literally get 20 hours a week back. They are more accurate. They increase their sales up to 10% because they're not missing out on stock outs. Their stores aren't running out of as much product. Um, and every one of those people in their company is still there. We didn't replace anyone's job. We just made them much, much more effective, right?
Right.
And also made them uh, more value focused as a role. So
Absolutely.
that's what I've seen.
Yeah, it allows the people uh, to do more human required tasks or to focus on innovation more,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yep.
Turner's Dairy is a great example. It saved that forecasting team, was it 20 hours plus a week? So now that's 20 hours they can go spend in other areas to improve the business, right? So, uh, yeah, Turner's Dairy is a really cool example. So I'm curious, when you start an engagement with a customer, do you usually have like a solution in mind, or is there a large discovery phase in figuring out what would be the best solution for that business?
That kind of comes back to what I was sharing is many people approach us with an idea of what they want, but the discovery is really diving into their business, understanding their workflow, understanding the infrastructure that they have in place, and then finding opportunity within that. So that to me, that discovery is still very much required because you can come in and lay AI on top of any process they already have, but until you actually understand how that works and where the inefficiency is within that process, simply adding AI to different places isn't going to have the impact that you're looking for. Um, I think for in time tech, that's one of the things that we're make us stand out and that we're doing really well is that we are not going in simply to slap AI into someone's environment. Our intent, our goal, and what will ultimately uh, hinge on us getting paid is identifying a KPI that truly matters and truly brings value to a business. And until we hit those KPIs, it we won't charge, right? And for us, that comes back to our brand promise of ROI or don't pay. Those those KPIs are those value markers for the business that take conversation to get to. So if we've identified there's 10 hours of manual effort a week that go into a certain task, and the KPI is, hey, let's get that down to two. Uh, until we actually get to that point, we're not going to send an invoice. And when we get
Mm,
to that point, we know that we've hit we've hit that value marker that means the business is already experiencing value. And so when they get the when they get the invoice, it's like, yeah, we're already getting value. So it makes sense to start paying.
yeah, honestly, the ROI don't pay brand promised is it's pretty shocking to people I talk to. It's nothing. People haven't heard of that before with a company like ours, and because with our whole goal of creating abundance, it really is we're here to improve your business, and it really takes the risk out of it for them, which is I don't know. I think that's one of my favorite things about the brand promise is it shows that we are here for them. We're not just trying to, you know, get paid, right? Um, yeah, it's a pretty unique thing. Do you see a lot of people surprised by that brand promise when when we bring it up?
Oh, it's super unusual in our industry.
Yeah.
Um, you, I mean, we work with enterprise partners. We work with mid-market companies as partners, and we work with fast-growing startups. The and we hear across all of those sizes of companies, they've had a lot of negative experiences sometimes.
Mm,
But you hear all the time that when it comes to software, companies come in, they they promise a certain thing, and the results don't always fit what was agreed upon, and there's not a lot of accountability, uh, not a lot of accountability in that process, and people get burned. And so I think there's a certain amount of skepticism when we say, "Hey, we won't charge you until we're producing value." And one of my favorite things is if we get to a point, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's so powerful when it does. If you get to a point where you miss a milestone or something comes up that just kind of derails your progress, and you have to really focus in and make that right. When you don't send an invoice to someone and say, "Hey, we're not going to hit our milestone. We're not sending an invoice, and here's our plan to make it right." Going through those setbacks together as a service provider and as a partner for us, uh, that creates a level of partnership that I think is hard to come by. It creates so much trust in the system, in the relationship. Um, for us, it creates that accountability to what's required for us to be successful, and those partnerships that kind of face some of those challenges are so much stronger after you make it through them, right?
yeah.
And it's pretty cool to be able to say that you come out stronger when something goes wrong, and it's not a place that breaks the relationships we have. It's actually a something that strengthens those relationships most of the time.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. I think it's interesting about kind of the way that we approach AI solutions is a lot of AI products out there right now. Uh, they're going. It's a specific solution. So they your business has to adapt to the solution, right? Whereas we take a slightly different approach where we adapt our AI solution to the business. So it's, you know, similar to like we've, say like we've built the engine and chassis for a car, and then we will custom build the rest of the car for you. And that depends obviously on all different things in the business. And that's why that discovery call and really getting the details of the business is so important, because it's like AI should fit like how would you say, AI should fit like a business suit, not like a hand me down jacket. Right.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so we're seeing a lot of people not really, because a lot of times when you go, previously in software development, you get a software and you have to just deal with what they've developed, and you got to figure out how to change your internal businesses to work with their solution. um, so I like the approach that we were taking because I feel like we can really help any type of business really at any level. uh, they just have to be willing to chat and tell us their problems.
Marketing is a powerful thing, and there are so many shiny objects out there right now. There's AI product after AI product, and it's not to say that those things aren't great and that they're not working and making a difference for people. But when you think about the complexity and the from business to business, I would say that there's not one business that has the exact same process as another. They have different systems, they have different tools, they have different workflows, they have different uh, functions within the business that make it run effectively. And when they're successful, they're already doing things right, and you don't necessarily want to change what's going right. You just want to make that process more efficient. And so the problem is, in my mind, when there's all of these shiny things out there that promise all of these great results, it's easy to think that you can take that and bring it into a business, and get those same results. But what I've seen happen is that you utilize those tools and you end up having to optimize around that tool versus the other way around. And so you maybe gain efficiency in one area, but you lose a ton of efficiency in the other because it broke your workflow or broke your process. And so what's so powerful is coming in and understanding that workflow, understanding that where those efficiencies are, creates an opportunity to focus in the right areas. So as you said, we have that engine, we have the AI model that does a task really well, and yet how it connects into your system is a place where if you plug it in the wrong area, you're not actually gaining efficiency in the area that makes the most difference. You might gain efficiency, but truly, uh, it's it's in the wrong place. So if we look back at Turner's Dairy, if we were to say, okay, we have a forecasting model, let's plug it into your manufacturing side. Um, and so we can see the demand of your product adjacent materials coming in. And that's like think about milk jugs or labels or the caps that go on there, and it would make a difference for them. They would get more insight into the demand of those particular products. But what they actually need is on their outgoing product side. They need that efficiency gain to understand their retailers and how much product they're consuming, and then that feeds back into the production process. So
Mhm.
so you could come in and plug AI anywhere you want, but the place that they really needed it was on that fulfillment side. And and then us being able to come in and really customize that into their workflow. They didn't have to optimize anything. We came in and we we optimized based on their workflow, and that's what was so powerful. Is it saved time for those buyers. It saved time for their salespeople. It increased their sales. It reduced waste, because it was in the right spot within their system. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about this newer direction we're taking and really um, helping businesses grow. That's kind of the fun part about my job is it's really just helping people. It's even though I'm in sales, I don't feel like I'm, a slimy sales guy. I'm really just here to help,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah, for
nothing's
sure.
better than when a client is happy and they love the solution. And honestly, a lot of times they don't. It's not usually one and done. A lot of times our clients come back asking for more and for another solution. So
I agree. I mean, I'm having a lot of more fun than I should, to be honest, day to day. There's so much genuine curiosity and excitement around AI. The conversations that we're having are legitimately fun. That exploration, that that kind of magic between technical discovery and imagining an outcome that truly makes a difference for a business. I don't see this changing. I don't see this slowing down. I see us continuing to see momentum in this space, and I'm really excited about it.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, Abe, great conversation today. I think I'm so excited to see what we can build in Arizona. I know that we're building this AI business across the country, and there's a lot of fun things yet to come. And I just want to say thank you for jumping on with me today and just exploring that.
Thanks for watching this In Time Tech podcast. If you'd like to learn more about what we can offer you, please visit our website, intimetech.com, where you'll be able to see the different capabilities and technologies we could provide you in your business. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow us to get more amazing content like this. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.